welcome to The Diplomat. 2019 marks the centennial anniversary of Korea's March 1st independence movement and also the establishment of Korea's provisional government in Shanghai. Around the same time, Georgia in Eastern Europe was also fighting for its independence. In commemoration of the occasions, today on The Diplomat, we sit down with the Georgian Ambassador to Korea, Otar Berdzenishvili, to talk about the significance of independence as well as the present and future of the two countries. Ambassador, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for coming here. It's our pleasure and honor to be on the part of this very special program.
So 2018 marked a very special year. It was the 100th anniversary for the Democratic Republic of Georgia. Yes. What significance does it have for Georgian people?
It's very important significance it has, first of all, in the substantial-wise, because that was in our part of the world, the first establishment of the Democratic Republic. And we had the first symbols of our countries. And this, unfortunately, that government was very short-lived, only 3 years it has been lasting before the Red Army's occupation. But what was the major thing that these people left for us? Very important sense to fight for the independence and the freedom. And that was when we have regained our independence after the collapse of the USSR. Georgia was one of the first countries who was fighting about its freedom. And last year we have celebrated 100 years of our anniversary.
I heard a lot of exchanges have been made between Korea and Georgia. Can you give us some examples about that?
Yes, it was very important year because that all of us throughout the world we have received from the capital. I think that important task like to promote our country especially. Since the beginning of the last year we have started launching the several cultural projects and also we have inaugurated first charter flight to Georgia from Incheon to Tbilisi, and I was the first recipient of this ticket, and with very big proudness I went to this flight, and it was very emotional thing to have Korean tourists, more than 200 people discovering the new country, new people, new culture, and I was leading them there, and we had a special greetings at the airport, and it was some very touching moment. Plus, we to conclude within the high note of this year, we had two very cultural projects. One was our polyphonic ensemble and very famous dance company Rustavi arrived in September, and it was in 5 different cities throughout the country, and they They had a performance in the singing and the dance, and they sang the Arirang. I think that, and among this audience, people, they've been crying, and it was some kind of another very emotional moment, what I could say. And I think it was very ambitious and very interesting year for not only in the embassy, but for the Korean and Georgian people, because that this created new horizons, I think, for our populations. And plus, it gave us very good notion to increase the interest from Korea to Georgia and vice versa from Georgia to Korea.
Right, right. Speaking of business, Georgia is actively attracting investments from a lot of Korean companies. What are the benefits of investing in Georgia?
My country is full of opportunities in terms of the investments in the energy and some industrial sector, because the Georgia itself geopolitically stands on the crossroad of the Asia and Europe, and the mega projects or international projects are passing through my country. Oil and gas and energy sector, and behind us very big demand of the energy. And I think that that's what we are doing. And I think that in terms of when it comes to the Korean dimension, it's not about only the energy. We would like to get a lot of know-how from the Republic of Korea, and having a lot of big conglomerates headquarters in my country. Why? I will tell you, because that Georgia is the number 6 of easing of doing business according to the World Bank in 2019 census. And my country has created the free industrial zones and free economical zones, and we are building one of the biggest port in the Black Sea, which will be the new city, which called the Anaklia project, and plus to connect the Asia and Europe and to diminish the cargo transfer. Like Georgia is the fantastic route for that. And in the industrial sector, and a lot of Korean companies are participating in the projects, and we are looking more to come. I think that when we'll have some success of the one story, it will be role model to another, and it will go and go. And we will start working of elaboration of the starting free trade talks with the Republic of Korea, because that my country has signed a deeper and comprehensive free trade agreement with European Union. We have association agreement with European Union, plus we had the free trade agreement with all our neighbors, with CIS countries, plus with China and Hong Kong. It's very rare, and we are trying to now start elaboration with India and with Japan and with United States as well. We are very ambitiously working about this issue. And I think that we have one of the lowest tariffs in the region. We have almost zero corruption, which is one of the major tools when you are investing in the country. I think that for the Korean companies, this is the fantastic opportunity to starting operation in Georgia and do their business throughout the Georgia. When always I'm meeting with these big company representatives, I'm always promoting the region, because that Georgia is the place where I should start everything, with its democracy, with its low tariffs, which is liberal economy, which is the fantastic environment for the investors. It will be not only for Georgia, but this is definitely mutually beneficial outcome it's going to have.
Right. What areas do you see the greatest potential in terms of exchanges and cooperation between our two countries?
Besides the energy sector, what I have mentioned, this is the vast opportunity still there. Another tourism sector, this is the very big potential, and then industries.
Sounds like a lot of positive cooperation and exchanges are going on between Korea and Georgia. And I know that Georgian Embassy recently organized a very special event to spread Georgian culture even more in Korea. So let's take a look at that moment.
Okay.
Last December, the Embassy of Georgia organized a meaningful event in collaboration with the Korea Foundation to promote Georgian culture in Korea during the KF Global Film Week. The event offered a rare chance for Koreans to appreciate Georgian cinema.
오늘 시행하는 행사는 KF 세계 영화 주간으로 그동안 사람들이 쉽게 접해볼 수 없었던 교류 위진 국가나 생소한 국가들의 영화를 매주 수요일 저녁 7시 30분에 사전 신청자들을 대상으로 무료 관람할 수 있게 열게 된 행사입니다.
The Georgian Ambassador to Korea, Otar Berdzenishvili, has spared no effort to bring Korea and Georgia closer together and to encourage more cultural exchanges between them.
Our cinematography is counting more than 100 years. And our cinematography is in our region one of the strongest one. And I'm very proud to collaborate with the Korean Foundation and to be the part of it in their festivity, which is called the Global Film Festival. This is a movie regarding the painter, which is very famous, but it was unknown, and he has been worldwide known after his death.
In his welcoming address at the event, he shared the rich history of Georgian cinema and the significance of the film to be screened. Pirosmani is a biographical art drama film about the self-taught Georgian artist Niko Pirosmani. It was produced in 1969. Pirosmani is known to have inspired Picasso and many other influential artists, and his creative legacy is revered all over the world. Capturing the style and sentiments of the artist almost perfectly, the film is like a trip to Georgia in an earlier time. Georgia is one of the oldest wine regions in the world. The event was also a chance to enjoy Georgian wine, which in Korea is becoming more popular. The depth and clarity of Georgian wines are greatly appreciated among wine lovers.
조지아에 대해서 잘 알지 못했는데 이번 영화를 보면서 영화 속에서 조지아의 모습을 보면서 조지아 문화에 대해 새롭게 배울 수 있었고 또 와인 테이스팅도 하면서 또 색다른 경험이 된 것 같습니다.
Ambassador Berdzenishvili looked genuinely delighted to present both his country's wine and its film.
This is about the intercultural relations between the countries, and I think that today's event is bringing our bonds more closer and increasing the people-to-people contacts. And I think that today's event will give some kind of journey to my country, and of course that it will play the crucial role in terms of the increase the tourism interest regarding the Georgia as well.
This event offered two of Georgia's finest cultural heritages, cinema and wine. Using this as momentum, we hope the two countries will pursue even closer ties in culture, economy, politics, and tourism, and make real changes together.
So after the film festival, the attendees were able to taste Georgian wine.
Yeah. Well, now you touched the point where is each of the Georgian is proud of it, because that behind you there is a small banner saying that Georgia is the motherland of the winemaking, and we are proud of it. I think that in our DNA is the wine. We have more than around 8,000 years history of the winemaking, which has received in 2013 by the UNESCO Intangible Heritage Acclamation of the Georgian winemaking tradition. It's very interesting coincidence as well. On that commission, on the same day, same time, recognized the kimchi making as an intangible heritage tradition for the Korean people. And there is a very interesting, I found by myself this, I made some research, and what was the reason like that we have been together at that time celebrating that acknowledgement. And that was very interesting explanation that both of our nations are one of the oldest in the planet, and both of us we have the very deep-rooted culture. And when it comes to the wine, we have the same clay vessels buried under the beneath, and from the grapes we made the wine, and you have the same fermentation process. You have the clay vessels. You are burying them under the ground as well, but you are receiving from the cabbage kimchi.
Georgia is famous not only for wine but also for ethnic diversity that has dubbed as ethnic mosaic. What was the drive behind developing such harmonious country?
Drive is very easy. I would like, once again, I'm going back and stretching what I have said before that. During these 8,000 years, like in my country, passed so many cultural dimensions through the centuries, and all these historical moments and pages of the history left its benefits for our culture. And Georgia is very diverse in terms of the religious freedom as well. And from the 9, we have 8 climate zones as well, but border to border is 5 hours drive, and it's small country. And but in these 5 hours, you could see from the alpine zones these seashores as well, and there is some place in the June, for instance, you can skiing and swim in one day, which is very rare to meet in our world. And when it comes to the hospitality, cuisine, and our museum heritage, this is another dimension as well. And that's why that Georgia became one of the biggest recipient of the tourists. Last year we have received 8,300,000 around tourists, which is almost triple than our population.
Right, that's amazing.
For 1 person, 3 tourists.
You just introduced a lot of charms in Georgia, and I believe probably that's why the tourism in Georgia is growing.
Yes, I think in the tourism, when it comes, first of all, let's talk about the safety, because my country is one of the safest countries in the Europe, because the tourism without the safety is not going to be flourish. And there is some discoveries as well, because that it's untacted nature. It's not so developed. Some places very historical, and that's what the people market of the tourists are craving for, because these luxurious resorts, and people already visited in the world, and everybody search something new, adventurous. And I think that my country is there. This is some kind of jewel in terms of the tourism. This year we are going to have very interesting project with the Hanjin Travel, which is the affiliated company of the Korean Air. We are going to have another 6 charter flights this year, and we are going to convene the press conference, and we are going to have the roadshow together. I would like to, this is my personal interest, like to have the double-digit tourism rise to Georgia from Korea.
I could read your hidden efforts to promote Georgia and even boost the tourism to Georgia from Korea people. Let's switch our topic from tourism to politics or economy a little bit. Korea have elevated our democracy to another level with the Candlelight Revolution in 2016 and 2017. And I heard people of Georgia also achieved a peaceful change of power in early 2000s.
Yes, it started from the early 2000s. First of all, what's happened here, like 2 years ago, I think that everybody from around the world, we have been watching what's happening in this Seoul city and this candlelight revolution for, I think that it's well known what was happened here. But the major thing, this is democracy, democratic values, which we are cherishing. This from the Korean people in Georgia as well. I would very proudly could say that Georgia in our part of the world, especially in our region, this is the democracy, first democracy, because starting from the 2000s, then in 2012 we had the first parliamentary election of the changing of the power. Peacefully. Then afterwards we had the presidential elections. We had my country is the first country besides the Baltic states in the post-Soviet sphere. Then we had the local elections as well, and this is the major foundation of my country, because that my country is we are saying that old and young country together, because we are counting 27 years, 28 years already, and with this democratical first foundation, this is our major things for us, for each of the citizens of my country, and that's, I think that we are founding common values between the Korean people and Georgia, because that when you are searching your partner, when you are searching your business dimensions, when you are searching the good environment for the investments, of course that democracy plays the crucial role there.
Would you like to share your plans to further improve Georgian culture here in Korea?
With so many things, starting from the culture, art, through the constructions, investments, the economy, politics, so many things is still untouched. Of course, we are covering, we opened our embassy in 2011 and still we are very young. And plus the Korean government reciprocated and it has not the full-fledged embassy, hope we will see very soon, but still so many things we could discover between each other. And I think that that's what we are doing. That is our plans are to have the breakthrough in the economical dimension in the 2019. It will bring our ties more closer and our entrepreneurs will get to know each other, not only business-wise, but in a cultural-wise as well. And of course, the exchanges of the highest level visits, like starting from the executive and the legislative, like this is another asset of our relations. And hope this year will be very successful for us.
Ambassador, this is my last question.
So quick.
What do you think a diplomat means in one word or in one sentence?
I think that this is, thank you so much for this question. I think being as a diplomat is very important for us, our career and our life as well. It means, I think that discovery. I could say in one word. This is very big discovery, because each of us, we are discovering the new world when is the new postings are arising. Discovery.
Ambassador, thank you very much for sharing your insights with us today, and also thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.